9 years after the Anti-Corporal Punishment Act passed, according to it, teachers were not allowed to punish any students. Students were misusing this act and bullying was all around. The 2 years earlier a teacher was killed by their own student. So the education system passed Teachers Protection Act. Kyungming is going to his school but suddenly a boy fall from the building. His name is Daesung Park. He did suicide because of bullying. Then we see Kyungming was also being bullied at school. He went to his teacher for asking his help but because of this act teachers ignored him. Then police came to school for investigating on suicide, but the matter was closed by saying that the boy did suicide because of study pressure. Then we see Kyungming trying to jump from the building. He saw someone was sitting beside him. He introduced him as a new teacher and asked him to take him to teacher's room. Suddenly a boy came and kicked Kyungming and started beating him, but this time the new teacher grabbed his hair and slapped him. Boy threatened him that they will viral his video and he will go to prison, but teacher didn't stop and started beating him badly. He took out his metal rod and started spanking him. Then he hit school principal for letting these kind of things go. Then the teacher Wajin introduced himself that he is going to improve this school.
Then we see principal trying to bribe him that Daesung did suicide because of study pressure, but he refused and left to Daesung class. In classroom Byungsu was being bullied. He was forced to drink alcohol. Then Wajin enters the classroom and took roll call. Then he smelled alcohol from his cloth but soon identified that he was forced to drink it, and then he pulled boy's lip and threw him out and beat him. Then he introduced himself again that government has sent him to teach bullies. He again took roll call but Junggae make everyone sit down. He is son of a politician and he is the boss of everyone. Junggae threatens him that he can't even touch him otherwise he will lose his job. Principal was outside the classroom and warned Wajin about him that he is the son of politician. But Wajin didn't cared about him and started beating him. Wajin told principal to call every teacher as everyone has to work together to solve this school problem. Junhyung was lying on the ground. Wajin gave bats, rods, poles to every teacher and said he will take every blame if problem arises. Then we see teachers beating bullies all around school for their behavior. Everyone was smoking on the roof and asking Junhyung why he is not doing anything. Junhyung told them that this law is passed by the leader and everyone thinks that it's our mistake, we should be punished, and his father is in no condition to help them. So he said we have to deal with this ourselves. They called a boy and beat him up. Then we see Wajin smoking and the boy asked for his help, but suddenly he took out a knife and stabbed Wajin. Wajin breaks boy's arm and take him to the room. He took out his shirt for stitching the wound and we saw that his body is full of cuts and scars. The boy tells why he did this. He told about Daesuk's suicide, that Daesuk and Junhyung never talked to each other, but one day a teacher stopped Junhyung from sleeping in class. Junhyung was about to slap his teacher but Daesuk stood up and slapped him. From then everyone started bullying Daesuk in school. He became the loser of class. Not only that, his father was fired from his government job and they were about to come on street. Junhyung said that he will only stop bullying him when Daesuk will die. Boy told Wajin that Junhyung is king because of his father. Then they went to the rooftop. Wajin taught something to Boy and he punched out Junhyung and Wajin beat rest of the guys. Then he showed his father news that he is caught in sex scandal and bribe and now has no power. Then it is shown that this was part of Teachers Protection Act. Then Junhyung passed as shown that how he was treated like a garbage at home, but in school everyone treated him as a king because of his father's position. Even after suicide they left him because of his father. But now when he has lost his power everyone started bullying Junhyung. He is being treated the same way as he was treating others. He was beaten at school as well as home by his father. Junhyung wants to kill everyone. He used gasoline to burn the school but Wajin arrived there and started the fire. Junhyung was trapped in fire and asked for help, so Wajin used a fire extinguisher. He told Junhyung that now he feels the same way as others, but all of this doesn't matter as Daesuk will not return. Next day Wajin comes to news and reported everything about Daesuk. Junhyung and all the bullies were arrested and his dad was removed from his party. Then we see Gangseok, the current education head and former political head, talking with assistant. How everyone is talking about Wajin technique. Then we see Junhyung's father, he is cursing Gangseok for leaking his scandal. Gangseok scolded him that he should have raised a better son. Then the scene shifts to Gangseok interview. Everyone was against this act, but he said that every child has right to study in a safe environment, and it doesn't matter how many opposition I face until I am the education minister, I will support it. Then we Wajin talking shit about him and Gangseok arrives behind him and Wajin calls him dad, but he kicks him that he is not his dad. They were mourning in front of the grave of Gaeun Choi. They say that whether she would be happy for what we are doing. Then Gangseok says that we have request from another school named Ji-Yuan High School. Wajin arrives at the school and founds there was a gang war, everyone was fighting, and he declares that he will end this gang war. Then the scene shift to principal office where they talked about school. The school is divided in gangs, all of them are fighting for proving their power and becoming strong. Wajin goes to gym where bullies were beating a boy. Wajin introduced himself but bully attacked him. Wajin knocks him out with single punch. Then he calls another gang to auditorium for class and says who don't want to obey can fight me. Then Wajin told them you two classes will have class together, and he told them the first class is know your place. The leader of second group attacked Wajin but he got knocked just by one hit. And then Wajin fights whole gang all alone, beat everyone up. Then he took a test of everyone and the boy who was being bullied became the topper. Wajin made him the king and he was allowed to give any punishments to the other students. New rules were created that school hierarchy will be decided by grades. Anyone can challenge Wajin if they don't agree and punishment will be given if anyone touches king. Everyone was made to do hard physical exercise all the time and the moment they disagree Wajin beats them. But then a person enters the class with a hammer. He is Gwanhyuk, the third-year student who created the hierarchy system. He is the leader of all the groups. He challenged Wajin and punched him. Wajin tries to block it but still got a bruise. Wajin says that your kind of students entertains the most to me. Then they made a deal that if Wajin lost the fight he will leave the school. And they started fighting. Wajin punched Gwanhyuk but he didn't knocked out, instead he knocked Wajin with a single punch. Then Gwanhyuk started beating everyone that they can't handle a single person, how will they handle whole district? Wajin started laughing, it shows he was just acting. Then Gwanhyuk attacked again but Wajin broke his rib with just a single punch. He said king to treat him as his slave like others. Now Gwanhyuk is serving king like a slave. Whenever he tries to kill king Wajin tortures him with a feather. Not only that, all of his gang members abandoned him as he got beaten up by Wajin. Principal thanks Wajin for improving the school condition as everyone is getting together and Gwanhyuk is also improving. Wajin says he is not improved, he is just waiting for his injuries to be healed. Then we see Gwanhyuk carrying King's bag. He was stopped by a boy who was beaten by him. He hired Gangster to deal with Gwanhyuk. They were called as Mongol army and passed out of Gun-Un school 8 years ago. Gwanhyuk punched one member but he blocked him and punched on his ribs and Gwanhyuk faints down. Gwanhyuk started fighting Khan but his kick was faster than his punch. He punched him on his throat and started punching him on face. Then Gwanhyuk remember his past. In first class he fought for first time as some boys were insulting his family as they were poor. He realized if he could be at the top everyone will respect him, but now he is scared. He is begging to stop otherwise he will die. Gangsters took him and King to cut Gwanhyuk hand so he can't fight again. King stood for him and took beating for him. His heartbeat was raised and Wajin received a message. After 10 minutes of beating he was still ready to save Gwanhyuk. Then Wajin arrived at the place and broke Gangster elbow and break his face. He said he will not go easy on them as they are not students. Now the second gangster comes with a knife. He realized that this person is not someone he can handle. He is using military technique in fighting which doesn't have any weakness against a weapon. He is using Krav Maga. Wajin beats him badly. Gangster started begging him but he didn't stop, he break his head. Then the gangster request King to stop this. Then Wajin said now you are doing right. And said then to leave. Next day Wajin left the school and everyone tied King on a chair to take revenge, but suddenly Gwanhyuk comes in. He said, nobody will touch my friend otherwise I will kill him. Then we see Wajin got a new job but this time it's a girl school and they have appointed a girl warden for them. The warden enters the room and salutes Wajin and calls him sergeant. Even Wajin says her as captain. Now if you want to know that why she called him sergeant. Why Wajin body is full of scars and cuts. And whose grave was that, and why were they saying will she like it? Then you have to wait for part 2. Complete 100 likes on this video and I will upload the next part, and if you have already completed then comment we want part 2, I will upload and give you the link personally.